The mere existence of guns and firearms have not led to the deaths of countless innocent victims. It is those that would use them for such a purpose that have brought about that great sorrow. I myself have owned and used firearms my entire life. As long as I can remember, I've been shooting guns. We've had firearms in our house. We've been respectful and very careful with them, and only use them in situations which is appropriate, such as sport or for hunting purposes. There are three strong reasons why I consider this point of view. Guns do not kill people. People kill people. Countries that have banned guns actually have increased crime. And third and foremost, every person has a right to defend themselves. That's why banning firearms, such as the government is considering doing, will not do any good. It's not going to control violence. It's not going to help. It may reduce violence associated with guns, but increases in other violence will come up, even more drastically. Imagine this. It is late at night in the home of an elderly widow. Her husband had done well in life and had been able to leave her in considerable financial comfort. This included a nice home and many valuable possessions. Meanwhile, a desperate thief, trying to make his way in the world living off others, has been studying her residence and decided it was an easy, profitable target. He breaks in quietly and begins to search the house for valuables. Whether because of a sound or any other number of reasons, the widow awakens and leaves her bedroom. Upon discovering the thief, she cries out that she's going to call the police and that he needs to leave. In his desperation not to get caught, he grabs a knife from the kitchen and races after the widow. Should the thief's actions be a reason to outlaw knives in the kitchen? If the widow had a handgun and used it to protect herself, is this a crime? What would be the outcome if the intruder had a handgun himself? Is the knife or the gun the cause of possible violence that takes place in this story? It's neither. It's people. People cause violence, whether it be with a gun, a knife, a blunt object, poison, fire. The history of the world is soaked in blood. Violence caused by people, not inanimate objects. Australia is a country that has banned firearms, and their crime rates show the results of law-abiding citizens being denied the capability to defend themselves. According to NationMaster.com, crime reports in 2006, total assault victims for Australia were 2.4% for the nation, ranking it fourth in the world among those that are included. The United States had a 1.2 total assault victims ranking it 11th. Australia also ranked higher in rape and total crime victims at 5th and 1st place respectively. The United States ranked 14th and 7th for rape and total crime in the world. The United States does have more gun violence, ranked 7th in the world, compared to Australia at 21st. It has very, well, I wouldn't say very little, but a lot less gun violence because there are fewer guns, they're banned. There is no distinction made as to how much of that gun violence, however, is actually self-defense. In the case of Australia, you can know that it's little to none because they're banned. Law-abiding citizens do not have firearms in their home. Thieves and criminals, however, do. And they don't go through legal means to get them. And then they use those firearms against the unarmed, law-abiding citizens. Australia can boast of less gun violence, but it can also claim a higher crime rate as its citizens are left to the mercy of criminals who do not follow the law. Even young Americans are interested and involved concerning gun control issues such as Sarah Merkel's testimony about banning guns is a violation of a person's Second Amendment rights. This was posted in the Washington Times as the girl came forward and bore her testimony that she too had been a person like myself who has shot and used guns all her life and saw this as an encroachment or an infringement upon our Second Amendment rights to bear arms and be able to defend ourselves in the face of tyranny and criminals. It is a common response to act quickly in the sight of tragedy and violence to stop or repair damage, but the wrong actions can make the situation worse. In summary, in order to curb violence in America, we need to address the reasons that violence is committed, and not only by the means in which it was committed. People with a history of mental disease, criminals, and other early on indicators need to be looked at, need to be taken care of and controlled to make sure that no kind of weapon, whether it be a firearm, a knife, poison, bomb, maybe even just a car, falls into the hands of people who could possibly do something like this. Granted, that may be along the lines of what most people call stereotyping, but when it concerns the public safety, some lines have to be drawn in the sand.